Christan Rainey is a firefighter, an entrepreneur, and a community activist, but he has an emotional story to tell. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Christian one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Well, Christian, it is so good to see you and meet you.
Good to meet you too.
I appreciate this. Well, here we sit in downtown Charleston, and I was looking at your Facebook page, and I noticed your introduction, mainly your bio on Facebook, and it says this: manager of 7 Cafe, engineer AMT at North Charleston Fire Department, owner CEO of Chucktown Ice, studied at South Carolina Fire Academy, studied MMI, which is Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, studied business management at Southern University, studied computer science at Baton Rouge College, Community College, and it goes on and on and on. And obviously you are a fighter against domestic violence. Tell me, who is Christan Rainey these days?
Christan Rainey is a fireman. He's a CEO of Mad USA. Also still currently in school.
Wow.
Also, obviously managing my family.
Yeah.
And things like that. Just managing life and just trying to do what God has in store for me,
Yes, indeed. And I want to take it back to October 21st, which was, I guess, Saturday. And you had this on Facebook. You said this: Mad USA at the Harvest Fest with North Charleston government. Great turnout. Got to meet new kids. And kids we have taught over the summer. Love the mission. So what is that mission?
The mission is basically to proactively teach kids about dating and domestic violence, and also teach them about bullying and power control, which are the behaviors that transition into dating and domestic violence.
Wow. Crazy question, but what is the state of domestic violence in your mind? What do you hope that the state lawmakers will do next, and even law enforcement?
We have made strides, obviously, in the last few years to stiffen the laws of domestic violence. We still have to build on top of those things to make sure we have a foundation to where our morals match our laws, because before 2 years ago it did not. You would get more time for beating your wife than beating your dog. So, more time for beating your dog than beating your wife.
Right.
And so, our laws really didn't reflect our values, and we had to catch up. And now we're doing that. We're making strides, and every year we have laws that are, trying to be established. We have EA's laws now that is being established by Emily's mom,
Yes.
who's just trying to get strangulation, obviously a tougher penalty for that. And also we have some other bills that we're working on. We have a bill that I drafted that would basically protect the identity of victims. So when they leave homes, or if they want to move to another state,
Right.
They're not just protected by their address, but they're also protected by being Googled. Because that's one thing that obviously you can do too, is just Google somebody to find their address. So they have other states that have this thing established, and we're just trying to make sure that we model some of these states that have lower domestic violence rates than we're doing. We have to see what they're doing differently and apply that to our state, because we're a beautiful state, we have beautiful people, but we have some problems as well that we need to address.
And I was supposed to be at this event on Wednesday, but I had 2 interviews to tape, and I didn't leave Starbucks until 5. But you were a guest speaker, obviously, at TEDx Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about your experience on stage.
Overwhelming. It was overwhelming, and it was one of the most satisfying experiences I've had so far through this journey that I've been on. And I didn't want to apply for it because I didn't feel like I was ready.
Okay.
I'm not really the social type. But I was one of my friends. They made me apply, and I thanked them graciously for it, because it was an experience unlike no other. We've been preparing since last summer, right, for this TED Talk, and it just took me to another level as far as how I deliver my speech, how I deliver my story,
right,
because it wasn't just on my story, it was my idea worth sharing. And that's what kind of opened my mind up to, what I really need to engage people on. Somebody really breaking down my story, breaking down what I do, and putting it into a 10-minute segment and making it be impactful. And what threw me off the most is, I guess, we did a lot of practicing and rehearsing, and, when we were there, like 4 separate times, people were clapping in between, my talks, and that's something that we never prepared for. So I ran over a little of my time from what some people that I knew in the crowd said. I got a standing ovation afterwards. And to me, that was just very powerful because I hold TEDx to such a high standard. That's why I was so, I would say, hesitant to apply, because I didn't know whether I was ready for that level of speaking. And to have a standing ovation and to have the amount of people who came after and tell me how much impact it had on their lives, I mean, it was amazing. It was surreal.
What do you hope to speak to people about next about domestic violence?
Mainly just, changing our culture. I mean, that's mainly the mission is proactive education and changing our culture. That never changes, because we have so much people that we have to reach out to, so much kids that we have to reach out to, because basically what we're trying to do is, even from grade school, we're trying to teach them how to establish relationships, not dating relationships, but just relationships between two people, whether that's friends or just associates, how to have a healthy relationship with people. And then once we get into high schools, later on in middle school, we start talking about dating relationships and teaching them, the healthy signs, the unhealthy signs, and, just basically changing their outlook on life, because at home, if they experience domestic violence in the home, they're 85% more likely to either be abused or be the abuser, because there's learned behavior. So, we have to catch them at a young age, because, we don't always grow up in homes where we experience, perfect, married parents. And, I mean, I didn't grow up that way. My mom was domestically abused when I was growing up. So, at some point in time, you got to break that cycle. And, our job at Mad USA is to start breaking that cycle from a young age.
You talk about that. I went back and read your story, and that was 2006. I guess to you it feels like just yesterday.
It does. I mean, it's a lot of things about my story that I think, as I grow, I share more. Okay. It's just it has been 11 years, but on top of that, I think there's certain moments. I talked about it in my TED Talk. There's just certain moments in life that people take for granted. Like. I went to a wedding yesterday, and just seeing like a mother dance with a father, and the groom dancing with his mom. Those are things that I'll never get to experience, and those are chapters in people's lives that they take for granted. And I want them to understand that domestic violence is something very serious, and most people don't think about it until it happens to them, but it can change your life. I mean, my life's forever altered. Whether you're looking at my life, whether you're looking at my child's life. Not having aunts and uncles, and you look at that kind of stuff, and I mean, it's life changing, and it's not it's 11 years ago, but I mean, it's an everyday life thing for me, because it altered my whole life in general, my family dynamics and everything.
Wow. Oh gosh. I know that you love God a lot, and I'm wondering this. What scripture are you meditating on every day to keep you going, not, trying to kill yourself or whatever? What keeps you going with that as far as scripture?
23rd Psalm. My grandma, since I was young, my grandma read that scripture to me almost daily. When I lived in Baton Rouge, and I would call her before we got off the phone, she would say it. And that's just been with me my whole life. I mean, just in the middle of the day sometime when I'm meditating, it's just, what I go through. Because I think that basically describes, the ups and the downs, and just having faith that, at the end of the day, no matter what anyone does to you, no matter what happens in life, that, you know, God's going to prepare a table for you.
Yeah.
And, you know, that he's going to lead you on the path that he wants you to. And I mean, that's the most powerful point is, you know, no matter what dark alleys you go down, no matter, you know, what bad things happen, just understand that, you know, as long as you have faith in him, he's going to lead you on the path of righteousness.
Yes, indeed.
So,
And, go for it.
no, that was just it for me. I mean, I've read a lot of Bible verses. I think, you know, one that brought understanding to me outside of that Bible verse is just reading the book of Job in general. You know, because that kind of described my life, and I had to understand, you know, that this wasn't something new that just happened. It may be new to me, but it wasn't new to God. So in order to just be able to read that and see somebody go through similar pains, lose what they consider everything, and still remain faithful to their religion is incredible. I mean, I had challenges myself. I got baptized probably about a month before my mom passed.
Oh, God.
So, you know, when that happened, it was just, it was devastating. I questioned God a lot. I just kind of took a back seat on my religion because it was hard to understand at that time. If I took this huge step towards you, why is this what I got in return? But I understood, you know, looking back at my journey now, I understood maybe without that baptism, I might not even be where I am today, because everything kind of came in full circle. Not saying that, because I would never say that. I mean, me being a selfish human, I would never say that any mission that I do or anything that I'm doing right now is worth my family, because I love them and I'm selfish. You know, I can't say that I would be consciously willing to sacrifice them to save other people, because there's parts of my life that, you know, I will never get to see that other people enjoy, and, you know, it's hard. I mean, just looking at certain family dynamics and just family pictures and watching people enjoy their mom, or even watching people disrespect their mom, you know, it hurts me, because I say you just don't understand the pain of somebody yearning just to have my mom just say, I'm proud of you. Because I hear from a lot of people say, you know, your mom will be proud, but I can't tell you how much it would mean just to hear from her myself, or to hear from my siblings, because I know they are, but, you know, just sometimes hearing that voice is reassurance. So.
What was like for you prior to 2006 in your mind?
Prior to 2006 is so much of a blur now. It was just life. It was, you know, I left here to go finish high school in Baton Rouge, and I finished there, and then started going to college in Louisiana. And I mean, before that, I mean, me and my mom, we always obviously had a very close relationship. I said she's definitely one of my best friends, because, you know, talking to her was talking to one of my peers, mainly because, I mean, she had me, I think, when she was 18, so we were not close in age, but, you know, she was relatable. She was a relatable mom, so she understood life, and she had a different spin on parenting. So she was very flexible with me, because she felt like, she said, in life you have to experience things. And she said, I don't want to hold you so tight to where you don't experience things, and then when you get out in life you don't know what to do. So she always had this theory of, the way she explained it to me is like being at a beach and allowing your child to go out into the water, and no matter how deep they go, it's kind of like keeping a leash on them. She said, if you go out too deep, I can bring you back. She said, but sometimes you still have to go out and explore for yourself. I can't be scared for you your whole life. And, you know, just having her this whole outlook on me, and just our struggle together. I mean, you know, she was a single mom majority of my life. And she taught me how to be very responsible at a very young age. I mean, at the age of 6, I was babysitting my oldest brother to me. because, I mean, we had to do what we had to do. As far as, surviving, she was working a job.
Yeah.
I think she might have been working at MUSC or something at the time. And, if hours went over and we didn't have a babysitter, she showed me, how to prepare a bottle for my brother, how to change diapers,
Right.
Basically the whole nine.
Right.
And, it's funny because I look back at it now and I'm looking at the average 6-year-old and I'm like, I couldn't imagine leaving an infant with a 6-year-old
Right.
and saying, you have to be responsible. But, everything in life, sometimes, you don't realize it, but when you look back at your maps and your routes of life,
Yeah.
Everything kind of comes together. And I look at, her making me be responsible at a very young age. I really didn't have my father involved in my life at that time. And, it was actually good to have a mom that, had so much faith in me and saying that, I believe that you can do great things outside of your age. Like, no matter what your age is, she had faith that, I could do it. And, it taught me to be a man at a very young age. It taught me how to be responsible at a very young age. And I think that's the reason, like, all of those things kind of played into when I finally, grew up and all of this happened. A lot of people, when I see them now, they're like, well, I always wondered what happened to you, And some people's like, oh, I thought you, maybe had killed yourself or was strung out on drugs. And I was like, no. I said, no, my mom taught me better. And, I'm stronger than that because, things change, life changes, but, you just got to roll with what you got. I'm pretty sure the defining moment for me was understanding that either one or two things can happen. My mom and my family could be taken away. I could have a story. I could do nothing. I could be strung out on drugs. I can use that as a crutch or use it as an excuse, and it would die in vain. Or I could do something with it, make a positive impact on people's lives, and carry on their legacy, make people remember them forever. And that's what I chose to do.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Every time I see someone wearing a T-shirt with my mom's name on it for our event, I mean, it's breathtaking for me because that person will always her name's there, and they understand that just by that name there's power and there's a story behind it.
You got about that.
Yeah.
Wow. Christan Rainey, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Thank you.
Yes, I appreciate it. Anytime.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. And Mom will be proud of you.
Yes, she will.
Yeah.
Yes, she will.
Yeah.